मेरे प्यारे पाकिस्तानियों, इमरान खान की काबिलियत और उसके रहनुमाई के चर्चे अमेरिका तक। CNN के मशहूर मारूफ फरीद ज़िकरिया का इंटरव्यू अलीमा खान के साथ जरा मुलाहिजा फरमाइए और उसके बाद कुछ तज्जिया करते हैं।
It is hard to win an election from prison, but that appears to have happened in Pakistan's general election. That's what the Washington Post editorial board said of last week's stunning vote in that country. Candidates linked to Imran Khan, the former prime minister, won the most seats in Pakistan's parliament. This is true even though his party was all but dismantled and its symbol, a cricket bat, banned in a country where more than a third of the population is illiterate. So Khan would seem to be a shoo-in to be the country's next prime minister. But he is actually ineligible as he's been locked up since August on a series of charges from corruption to leaking state secrets to having a fraudulent marriage. Khan's allies claim that these charges are orchestrated by the country's powerful military, which has essentially run the country for most of its existence and has been at odds with Khan since 2022. What is going on? Let me bring in Aleema Khan, the sister of the former prime minister, who has been regularly visiting her brother in jail. She joins me now from Islamabad. Aleema Khan, welcome. Let me ask you first, what do you think this vote, this overwhelming vote for your brother represents? What are people voting for when they are voting for him?
Thank you, Fareed, for having me on the show and being able to give my brother's message, because he is in jail and there are very few people who can see him. There's either the few family members or the lawyers. Keep in mind that he's in solitary confinement. He is kept in a tiny cell. But what has happened is that people have rejected a system which comes from, I think it's archaic. It's coming from the last century. This is a new era of social media and young people. And I don't think they would like to continue the system where somebody else decides their fate. What Imran Khan really taught them, he's not a politician, but he was a mentor to a nation, and he's built a nation. And 8th February was an indication of what he signifies, what he stood for. And what he stood for was that you have a right in this country. You have a right to justice. You have a right to education. You have a right to health systems. You belong to this country. He's built a nation. And I think the happiest moment my brother had was the 8th of February when people came out and understood what he was trying to do for them. And they came out in a shock to the system. I think it's not just to Pakistan. This might become a trend for the rest of the elections coming in the world for the 2024, that they came out, they had no candidates, by the way, no party symbol, no candidates, they had no knowledge of who the candidate was. They came looking for their own symbol, and they came out, families came out, they came out dressed out as if they were in a festival, and they came out to vote for a change. And that change, I don't believe that change can be stopped now, no matter how many mandates are stolen from the people.
So let me ask you, what is going to happen next? Because the other two parties have kind of banded together. The military seems to have blessed it. They intend to form a government. Can you lead protests on the street? Is there any possible way that mass action can stop this process where it does appear the two parties in the military are trying to move forward?
I wouldn't say it's uprising. I think I'm very proud of Pakistanis. They have risen, very intelligently voted. I think one of the most central role that was played was for the social media. It is how young people have connected with each other. This was not an underground movement. It was a social media movement. And everybody thought this was like a young children. I think they treated it with disdain that, it's just young people. But do not forget, out of 240 million people, 120 million people are under the age of 30. So this was I would say, an uprising and rejection of a system from last century. Internet has made them independent. You might say that they are illiterate. Maybe they don't have literacy, but they have knowledge. And they have been very smart about it, very silent about it, and they came out and casted their vote. And the vote was the weapon that they used. And that is why I would say we are very proud of what Pakistanis have shown to the rest of the world.
Aleema Khan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Fareed. Thank you for having me on your show.
میرے پیارے پاکستانیوں، فرید زکریا پوچھتے ہیں یہ کیسے ہو گیا؟ عمران خان نے جیل میں بیٹھ کر کے الیکشن کیسے جیت لیا، جبکہ اس کا بلے کا نشان بھی لے لیا گیا، اس کی پارٹی کو بھی بند کر دیا، میڈیا میں اس کا نام تک لینے کی اجازت نہیں تھی، تو یہ سب کیسے ہو گیا؟ اتنا آسان تو نہیں تھا۔ اس کے باوجود جبکہ اس کے اوپر توشہ خانہ کے اور سائفر کے اور پھر اس کی شادی کے اوپر جو الزامات لگے ہیں اور جو جیل ہو چکی ہے، تو یہ تمام صورتحال تو بہت مشکل ہو جاتی ہیں۔ لیکن میں یہ بھی جانتا ہوں کہ یہ تمام تماشا لوگ کہتے ہیں آرمی کا لگایا ہوا ہے۔ آپ کیا کہتی ہیں علیمہ؟ آپ بتائیے۔ علیمہ خان نے کہا کہ عمران خان ایک کوئی سیاست دان نہیں بلکہ وہ قومی رہنما ہیں۔ ہمارے لوگ ابھی بھی بہت پرانی سیاست کر رہے ہیں پاکستان کے اندر، جبکہ نیا زمانہ پاکستان میں آ چکا ہے۔ عمران خان نے قوم کو سکھا دیا کہ تمہارا حق کیا ہے، تمہیں انصاف کا حق چاہیے، تمہیں اچھی تعلیم چاہیے، تمہیں اچھا صحت کا نظام چاہیے، تم ہو جو ملک کے مالک ہو، یہ تمہارا پاکستان ہے۔ عمران خان نے پاکستانی قوم کو ایک متحدہ قوم بنا دیا ہے، اور اس کا نتیجہ فروری 8 کو سب کے سامنے عیاں ہو گیا۔ میرے پیارے پاکستانیوں، یہ تھا لب لباب ان لوگوں کی گفتگو کا۔ آپ کا کیا خیال ہے؟ ذرا کامنٹ کر کے بتائیے۔